So what is important to set those expectations in the first 5 minutes of your tour, activity, or experience? Hi there, Kelsey Toner here, the founder of Guest Focused Tour Business Coaching, where every day myself and our experienced team of tour and activity business coaches are helping you build a thriving, profitable tour business. In this series, we've been looking at how to design a tour that guests will never forget. We've been sharing practical frameworks, tools, and as always, drawing from real-world examples from some of the most successful tour and activity businesses on the planet. In this video, we're going to be looking at setting and managing expectations, which is incredibly important if we want these tours to be unforgettable. Let's get after it. So your guests can arrive with 3 different types of expectations. Firstly, what your organization explicitly promised. This could be information on your website, on your individual sales pages, or pre-trip information. The second type of expectation is what guests assume is standard for your type of tour. Or put another way, these are expectations that are not really in your control. This might occur because your competitors are all doing something, or there's a new type of technology. For example, let's say guests really appreciate getting an SMS message with a Google Maps link directly to the start of their tour. And that is a convenient way that they found to get to the tour. Every tour they've been on does this, and then yours doesn't. Well, that can obviously be an unmet expectation. Additionally, keep in mind that these expectations can be set from previous or past online reviews, especially if there's something that you have done in the past, or maybe only certain tour leaders do, and it gets called out in a review, there might be an expectation that that happens on your experience as well. The third type of expectation is, of course, the most obvious, which are personal promises made during tours and activities. These are things that your staff or your team, or possibly even your tour leaders, said that they would do, and it's important that we follow through. So let's talk through how we can set and manage these expectations and some of the key touch points over the course of your guest or customer journey. A simple place to start is with your sales pages, with your tour descriptions. It's important to be as accurate as possible. And if you are making promises as to what people will experience, we've got to make sure that we're following through. As a best practice, keep in mind you can and should leave room for some surprises. If you go through and set expectations on every single thing that you're going to be doing on tour, we're limiting our ability to wow and delight folks. At times, it's entirely appropriate to leave some special element off of your sales page so you can really over-deliver when they come on tour. The FAQ, or frequently asked questions section of your tour sales page, is also hugely important. This is not only a way to overcome sales objections and concerns and hesitations, but to also set expectations on what they can expect, what you can and cannot accommodate. Another best practice I recommend: leverage those sales pages in the training of your tour leaders and activity hosts. Exposing them to the exact description of the tour, of the experience that they're providing, goes a long way to making sure that they're clear on what their guests and their customers have been told in advance. Beyond just sales pages, keep in mind that your marketing materials should not be over-promising as well. We want to make sure that, yes, you're getting people excited. Yes, you're saying why your tour is the thing to do in your destination, or why the way that you do things is better than alternate or potentially competitors. But know that through your marketing materials, you can be, and often are, setting expectations for future guests. Next up is your confirmation email or a receipt. This can include essential meeting information, what to bring, what to expect. It's also an overlooked opportunity to create a personal connection with your brand or your company. And most of all, get people excited about the upcoming experience. Not only will those personal connections help you reduce the likelihood that somebody may ultimately cancel or change their minds, but keep in mind that so many tour and activity businesses are not taking this additional step. It could be something as simple as recording a short video from you as the founder, or from some key guides or team members who are simply saying, "Hey, thanks so much for booking this tour, activity, or experience. We're really excited to welcome you." And down below is some information to make sure that you come prepared and that you and your loved ones have the best time possible. Thanks so much, and we see you soon. Even a short message like that, where you're creating that personal human-to-human connection, can build that trust, rapport, and increase not only how memorable the experience with your company or brand will be, but of course, it's going to increase the likelihood that they're going to refer, recommend, and feel that connection with your brand or company. As the tour approaches, we typically have an email and SMS reminder emails. This is another important touch point to not only build excitement, but also manage those expectations. Your reminder email should reconfirm key details, address common concerns, share best practice or recommendations, and do everything possible to set your guests up for success. So many tour and activity companies don't customize these emails as much as they should when using booking software. And many companies are also concerned about repeating that information over and over. As we know, there are going to be people joining who haven't fully read the sales pages or the FAQs. They haven't read the confirmation email. Maybe they didn't even read the reminder email. So as much as possible, we need to give every opportunity to expose your guests to this pre-trip information and to the setting of expectations. And that includes, as we'll see here in a moment, the first moments of your tour activity or experience. We should probably be making the assumption that people haven't seen any of that pre-trip information. So what is important to set those expectations in the first 5 minutes of your tour activity or experience? One key element here of meeting people's expectations is knowing what to do and being prepared for when things go wrong. What this means is often having clear and concrete policies and making sure that every team member knows exactly what to do in some of the most common disruptions that might happen to your tour. Examples might include what to do if you have a late guest or group of guests. What do you do if there's a lost guest? What if somebody gets injured? What if there's a vehicle accident of some kind? What if there are weather issues that are disruptive, or perhaps other emergency situations or disruptions to the tour itinerary? Your team should have a very clear idea of what to do of each of these cases. Another example might include removing a disruptive person for the tour. How are we going to make sure that the majority of the group still has that great experience, that you're still able to meet those expectations without this one incident, or potentially with this one individual guest ultimately disrupting the entire experience? A lot of it comes down to preparation and training. It's best not to leave anything to chance and be explicit with your tour leaders or guides around expectations around personal hygiene, how they look. Is there an expected uniform, or what's appropriate or not appropriate? As much as possible, you want consistency and clarity around these professional standards. Another highly recommended best practice is to not shy away from qualification and straight talk. So qualification is really laying out in pretty plain English the requirements that might be important for that tour. So let's use a multi-day tour as an example. If there is going to be hikes that are happening where you need to be able to walk X amount of distance, or if there's going to be uneven ground or cobblestones in one of the places that you're going to be staying and the trip takes place, it's important to be upfront about this. And we don't want to have people on the tour who probably shouldn't be there. This is going to cause a whole heap of problems beyond just not potentially meeting their expectations, but creating headaches not only for the tour leader, the guide, or the host, but also for other guests. And of course, we've got the challenge of afterwards if they had a poor experience. So it's really in the best interest of everyone to be really explicit around any of these limitations or qualifying steps. Additionally, the term straight talk is a great way to be upfront about some of the, let's say, unpleasantness that might be there on tour. Now, everything is framing, but we might want to highlight that if somebody is booking a tour, activity, or experience in August in Rome, that crowds are going to be part of this experience. We can set that expectation. We can share how we manage it. We can share how we're going to manage the heat, but let's also have some straight talk, as that's just going to be part of the reality of that experience. Over the years, and with the thousands of tour and activity operators we've worked with, we've been exposed to just an enormous number of really inspiring ways to wow and delight your guests. We have other trainings where you can go through and be inspired by some of the small things that go a long way to wowing and delighting. So to bring everything together, over this training series, we've explored how to create truly unforgettable tours, activities, and experiences, starting with guest-focused design, introducing the unforgettable product pyramid, how to lean into special moments, special people, and special access. We highlighted the importance of storytelling and tour themes, how some of the most memorable tours engage all of our senses, the importance of interactive elements, and shifting from a more passive experience to one that involves engagement. We talked about a perfect flow, first impressions, strong endings, how we can personalize on our tour, and how to set and manage expectations. All of these elements work together to create experiences that guests will never forget. But keep in mind, they only work when built on that rock-solid foundation of well-managed expectations. So if you'd like some additional support in the design of your new tour activity or experience, or you'd like to access some of our other proven industry resources, things like pricing calculators or sales page templates or proven AI prompts to help you sell your tour activity experience, to help you put into words just how incredible your experience is, then why not book a free call with one of our tour and activity business coaches? It's a great way to have a conversation. We'll help you out as best we can, and we're happy to share how we can work more closely together. Before you go, I'd love to hear down below, what are some of the ways that you set and manage expectations? Or perhaps what has been some of your biggest takeaways from this series on unforgettable tour design? It means the world to us if you would share this video, if you found it useful, share this series with colleagues, with friends. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, and as always, we'll see you in the next video.